Hello everyone, Yuki here and back with part 3 of this series. And as said at the end of last episode, this episode I will be playing in bot lane as an AD carry in a normal game against other players. But before we get into game, I will be giving an overview of the ADC I will be playing. I hope that this will help new players be able to follow along during the gameplay better. I also suggest that new players look into the information on a champion they want to try out before getting into a game with that champion for the first time. This includes reading and understanding the champion's passive and spells. So here we are on Riot's page for Caitlyn. She is a marksman, mainly played in bot lane as the AD carry, short for attack damage carry. Her basic stats are here on the top of the page, and moving down we see her available skins and abilities, which is what I want to focus on. So Caitlyn's passive is Headshot. The passive gives Kate's next attack a headshot that deals bonus damage that scales with critical strike chance. The passive can be activated every few auto attacks, or if an enemy champion steps into one of her traps or is hit by her net. Targets that get trapped or netted also give Kate double range on her next auto attack. Her first ability is Piltover Peacemaker, which is basically a skill shot that shoots in a straight line in the direction you choose. Her second ability is Yordle Snap Trap. When activated, a trap will be placed down on the ground where the player has specified. When an enemy steps over a trap, they will be revealed and immobilized, which means they can't move for a short period of time. Her third ability is 90 caliber net, which is also a skill shot that shoots out a net in the direction the player chooses. When the net is released, Caitlyn will also be knocked back a short distance in the opposite direction. If the net hits a target, the target will be slowed for a short period of time. Caitlyn's ultimate is Ace in the Hole. Her ultimate is a lock-on ability, which means you don't need to aim. All the player has to do is click on the enemy with the spell. The locked-on enemy cannot remove, flash, or walk out of range of this ability once it is locked on. The only way to not be hit is to have a teammate block the shot for you by standing in front of the locked on person. It is really easy to tell the direction the shot will be coming from with the orange line that connects Kate's gun to the locked on player. And that's all there is for the basics on Caitlyn's abilities. While I may be using the Riot website for this information, you can actually get the same information in-game by clicking on a champion and looking at their abilities section. So now let's get into game. I'm Yuki and I welcome you to your first game as an AD carry. So the commentary for this game is post-commentary and not live. I have never commentated before, and that's why I thought post-commentary would be better for now, as I practice and I can always re-record any mistakes I make. So why did I choose Caitlyn? Well, mainly because she is my favorite AD carry. Overall, Caitlyn is an ADC with a very long range kit. If we look at her abilities again, Peacemaker has a range of 1250, Traps 800, Net 750, and Ultimate with a scaling range from 2000 to 3000. Caitlyn is just a very long-ranged AD carry, which means she can stay far in the back line and still do damage, which is, in my opinion, the safest AD carry playstyle. Stay in the backline where people can't get to you while you can still do large amounts of damage. That's why I picked her for this game. To me, she's a good safe pick. Even more so since I would lag spike from time to time during this game. Well, also because I'm really rusty on almost every role except mid. Once again, the first thing you should do is get your starting items when you get into game. Most AD carries start with a Doran's Blade, a potion, and the yellow ward. It's also what I prefer to start with on every AD carry that I play. As for item builds, you can check one of the websites I suggested last video, and the links will also be in the description of this video. Now, while I am pushing the idea of following a build for new players, it is also good if you try to start and understand how each and every item benefits the champion you are playing. The more you understand about the pros and cons of each individual item, the better you will be able to build situationally for games in the future. So in this game, I didn't have to give my jungler Shyvana a leash, and that is because she started topside. So my top laner Garen helped her with that. But if you notice, I actually didn't head to my lane right away, and instead I headed straight for the river. And that is because I wanted to make sure that the enemy wasn't going to try and come into our jungle and steal one of my jungler's camps. This can actually happen in games. Sometimes I have, with my team, gone to the enemy jungler and stolen one of their buffs. So yes, it's actually something that can happen quite frequently. So it's a good idea if you can help your jungler out by, being at the river at the beginning of the game and making sure that no one is trying to come into your jungle. And another reason for doing this is because you honestly don't really have to be in your lane, even though you don't have to give a leash. You don't have to be there until the minions spawn, because nothing really happens until the minions do spawn. So when the minions did spawn, I headed straight for my lane and I started trying to get CS. Basically, that's what you do as an AD carry. You try to get strong for the mid and late game. And basically, the mid and late game is around 20 minutes to 30 minutes when it becomes late game. So other than that, as an AD carry, you kind of wait for your support to try and initiate if you can get a kill or not. So it really depends on what kind of support you have also. If you have a really aggressive supports like Thresh for example, or Blitzcrank, once they get a hook or grab, then you will be able to try and get a kill off of that. But if you have a more passive support like a Janna or a Soraka, then it might be just a farm lane. And a farm lane is basically when you just focus on getting CS and you're not really focused on getting kills. This usually happens for AD carries, for example, like Vayne, who try and just to survive the early game, get farm, and they'll be a lot stronger later on in the mid and late game. So in this game, there's also quite a number of interesting picks on the enemy team. For example, they chose to not have an AD carry. It seems instead they have a Ziggs in the bot lane. He is in the position of an AD carry, but he's actually going mage, as you can see. He's not going to be building AD carry items. He's still going to be buying ability power items and playing as an AP carry. And also their Thresh top lane is an interesting pick. Usually Thresh is a support champion, not really played in the top lane. And there's reasons for these things because usually champions, when they're designed by Riot, they're made for a specific lane or just a specific role. So when you see things like this, it's really odd and it doesn't always work. And usually it's hopefully being done by someone who really knows that champion really well or knows League really well, because they're not easy to pull off all the time. And that is why for a beginner, I don't suggest you trying and, copying things like this. You probably won't enjoy League as much if you were to try and pull off something like this as a beginner, since you're not that versed in the game of League, and it just might ruin your gaming experience. So try to stick with conventional picks and roles for a beginner, and once you get good at the game, maybe you want to experiment a lot more, which is fine. So here I am pushing out bot lane before I go and head towards the dragon, and my support Shen is able to tank the dragon while I take it. Now I'm actually pretty safe to take this dragon, I felt, because the Bard was dead not too long ago, and bot lane is pushed, so the Ziggs is probably bot lane, taking up that CS, and our Annie in mid lane is occupying the enemy's Lux in mid lane. So I felt that no one was really going to come and check the Dragon Pit, and that made it safe for us to take it even without a jungler. Usually you don't always do this, so it's something you really have to think about carefully before trying to sneak one. So currently in League, you have 5 different types of dragons. You have the Cloud Dragon, Infernal Dragon, Mountain Dragon, Ocean Dragon, and Elder Dragon. And each dragon has like its own bonus when you have slain that dragon. And how do you know if you are the team that gets the dragon over the enemy? If the enemy comes and tries to fight you for that dragon? Well, you can tell this by who actually last hits or slays that dragon. And anyone on your team and anyone on the enemy team is able to do this. It doesn't have to actually be the junglers that get this last hit on the dragon. Of course, junglers do have an easier time of doing this because they have Smite, and Smite does a lot of true damage right away, and that's able to make it a lot easier for junglers to steal compared to anyone else on the team. But like I said, anyone on the team can actually take that dragon if they are the one to last hit it. So what kind of buffs do you actually get from these dragons? Well, the Cloud Dragon provides a buff called Status Walk, which gives you a bonus movement speed while you are out of combat, compared to the Infernal Dragon, which gives you Infernal Tribute, which increases your attack damage and your ability power damage. Then you have the Mountain Dragon, which gives you Earthen Arms, which grants you true damage to epic monsters and turrets. And epic monsters would be anything like a dragon or Baron. Then you have the Ocean Dragon, which gives you Heart of the Oceans. And what that does is that it helps to restore any missing health or missing mana you might have for 5 seconds, as long as you are not being attacked or being damaged by champions or turrets for at least 8 seconds. And last but not least, the Elder Dragon actually gives you 2 types of bonuses. The Elder Dragon, first of all, gives you Aspect of the Dragon, which means that the bonus is that you actually get true damage on all of your spells if you are a mage, and you get true damage on all your basic attacks or auto attacks if you are an AD champion, and this only applies to anything that's not a turret. So it doesn't work on any of the turrets, unfortunately, but anything else this buff does apply to for at least 3 seconds. And the second bonus of the Elder Dragon is that it strengthens all of the other elemental dragons buffs by 50% for a duration of time, which is as long as you have the Elder Dragon buff. So you might be wondering, what is true damage at this point? And well, true damage is damage that is applied, or your damage before any armor or any resistance is calculated into reducing the damage you have. So yeah, dragons are actually quite important in the game of League, at least in the current League version. So it is really important that you try to get as many dragons as possible, because they will definitely help you win your games. And as stated previously, you can actually keep an eye on the dragon by warding, and if the dragon is slain, you can keep an eye on the dragon timer for when the dragon will respawn by pressing tab and then looking at the very top of your game screen where all the timers are, and you'll notice that the dragon is right beside the Baron in the middle. So yeah, this game has been pretty back and forth so far. There's no really decisive team that's actually going to win. And I haven't been doing that great myself during this game, but I haven't been doing too poorly. My team and the enemy team, we both have made quite a few mistakes during the game, but we definitely made a lot more than they have during the early and mid game, which is between 10 to 20 minutes and 20 to 30 minutes. And after 30 minutes, that would be late game, and that's kind of where my team, we start to play a lot better. And actually, I'm having this whole video sped up, and I'm just gonna go ahead and speed up the rest of this video even more so that you can see the gameplay and we can get to the end of this game. So yeah, I hope you enjoy. So I do kind of want to talk about this part of the video a little bit. I kind of almost get myself caught out here, but I was able to get away safely, luckily, and the Shen also uses his ult to protect and come into the fight. So here you can see that the Annie gets caught out when we really just wanted to take the dragon, and we were able to take it fortunately and then collapse on the enemy team and also kill them. So it's like a totally big turning point in the game where we look like we are definitely going to win. And that's also because the enemy team Lux, their most fed player, kind of chose poorly in that she wasn't with her team and instead she went mid lane to take our mid tower. And it's not that great of a choice because now like most of her team died, she didn't get the dragon, and she wasn't even able to get anything more than the turret. She wasn't able to get that inhibitor, so it was actually a pretty big loss for the enemy team. And I think that's basically where this whole game turns around and we look like we are actually going to win really soon. So that's it for this game. Fortunately, we did win, even though the game was pretty back and forth. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel and comment down below on what you feel I can improve on. So thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye!